Chapter 1. The Peculiar Invention. By Arlen Vale, mechanic scholar of Meridian Station. Machines forget faster than people. That's something I've come to believe after years of coaxing rusted gears and humming consoles back from the brink. You'd think a station like Meridian, older than most known star maps, built around a dead planet no one remembers, would have shut down long ago. But it still breathes, hums in its sleep, and I'm the one who keeps it dreaming. My name's Arlen Vale, mechanic, scholar, part scavenger, part priest. I tend to machines like they're old gods, forgotten but not gone. Most of the others here, the surveyors, the junkers, the board custodians, treat the station like a relic, a place to stash broken tech and wait for transfer orders. But I've seen the way the gears shift when no one's watching, the patterns in the static, the almost words. Today started like any other. I was deep in Sector J, doing a diagnostic sweep on Engine 7A, one of the ancient ones, its panel covered in soot and scratched brass. The plaque was nearly unreadable, but I traced the faded letters with my fingers like a blind man reading prayers. Initialized, Year 12. Purpose, data corrupted. I hooked up a portable scanner, expecting the usual sequence of pings and warnings. Instead, the console hissed, then exhaled, a soft puff of steam, followed by a click I hadn't heard in, ever. That's when the lens opened. A circular iris, dulled by decades of grime, blinked awake. For a moment, I thought I imagined it. Then it spoke. Just static at first. Then a warbled voice, cracked and fraying like a signal bouncing through too many dead satellites. Ether, point, 0, return, 12th never. 12 what? I stepped back, heart knocking in my chest. The voice wasn't in any known system language. The words didn't line up with any known protocol. And yet, they felt familiar, like something I should remember. Behind the machine, a panel hissed open on its own. A strip of film printed slowly out, black as smoke and etched with fine silver lines. A map. I unrolled it on the floor, brushing away decades of dust. Coordinates, curved notations. But the location? It didn't exist in any current star chart, or past ones. Ether point 0. I'd never heard of it. I don't think anyone had. But the map was real. The machine had drawn it with purpose, with precision. I sat there for a long time, listening to the soft hum of the station. The machine eye stayed open, pulsing faintly, almost like it was watching me. Or waiting. Maybe both. Some would say forgotten tech should stay forgotten, that the past belongs in storage. But Meridian Station remembers something it's not supposed to, and now I do too. Because whatever that message was, it wasn't just a glitch. It was a signal, a call. And I think it was meant for me. Chapter 2. Chrono Faults and Phantom Data. By Arlen Vale, mechanic scholar of Meridian Station. The next morning, I woke up to find my tools rearranged. That alone wouldn't be unusual. We get microquakes sometimes, shifts in magnetic alignment that send lighter objects sliding across metal decks. But this wasn't that. My gear was laid out in perfect order, by size and frequency of use. Just the way my father used to teach me, before he vanished on a repair job near the station's black spine. Except I hadn't done it, and no one else had been through my quarters. I checked the security logs, blank, as if the cameras blinked for just 2 seconds and missed everything. I shrugged it off. Denial is easy when you work with unreliable machines, but the feeling didn't go away. That quiet hum in the back of my skull, like something was watching from the seams. Down in Core Hall, I ran the map data from the machine through one of our offline analyzers, one of the old ones, built before the station's AI systems got fragmented and strange. The results weren't encouraging. The coordinates led to nowhere, an empty pocket between two long-extinct stars. But the timestamp embedded in the data packet was even stranger. It looped. Not in a repeating cycle, like a corrupted file, but in a spiral. A fractal pattern that seemed to stretch across decades, then fold back in on itself. I saw my own name buried in the checksum. I triple-checked. It was me. A file tag labeled arl-val.197.iteration with a blinking question mark. Iteration? That's when I heard the noise. A metallic whine, rising fast, then dropping low, like something winding backward through a tape. The lights in the lab flickered. One blink, and suddenly the tea on my desk was hot again. Still steaming. It had been cold for hours. Time shouldn't do that, not unless it's breaking. Or bending. That's when I knew this wasn't just about a forgotten star chart. Something down in the machine core, something far older than our tech, had started to wake. And as it stirred, it warped everything around it. Not just space, memory, cause and effect. My thoughts felt echoed like I'd already had them yesterday. I returned to Engine 7A. The eye was still open, watching, but it wasn't alone. There was a second iris now, next to it, smaller, faintly pulsing, like a child imitating a parent. When I approached, the main lens clicked once, and a voice buzzed from the speaker. The same voice as before, but clearer this time. Calmer. Do not wake the dreamer. Then silence. But my heart didn't stop racing, because at that moment I saw something impossible. A reflection in the brass casing of the engine. Not mine. It was me, but older, scarred, standing just behind me, and smiling. When I turned around, nothing was there. But the scorch mark on the floor said otherwise. Chapter 3, The Heart Below. By Arlen Vale, Mechanic Scholar of Meridian Station. There are corridors in Meridian that don't appear on any map. You learn to spot them not by sight, but by temperature, by pressure. By the way, your skin feels just a little too tight around your bones. I followed the scorch mark from the engine room, not because I wanted to, but because it wouldn't let me go. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that reflection again. Me, but not me, watching like someone waiting for a door to open. The mark led down an old maintenance shaft, half-sealed and pressure-locked since before the last station-wide reformat. I bypassed the seal with a plasma torch and a prayer. The metal peeled open like old bark. Inside, it smelled like ozone and old thoughts. It was colder there, unnaturally so. The air shimmered like time was thinning. At the end of the shaft, I found it. Not a room exactly, more like a vault, but not for valuables, for memory. It was spherical, a perfect dome, lined with filament threads like nerves, pulsing faintly. In the center stood a machine I'd never seen before, even in old records. It wasn't built for function. It was built for dreaming. A tall, spindly frame of copper and obsidian, its core wrapped in some kind of biological tubing. Breathing, not metaphorically, literally. I watched its chest, if you could call it that, rise and fall with deep, measured rhythm. Hooked into its base was a seat, worn, stained, human-sized. And on the wall behind it, etched into the alloy, was a message in jagged, desperate hand. The station is the coffin, the dreamer is the key. I didn't understand, not fully, but I knew what I was looking at. A machine designed not to process data, but to remember people, their whole lives, their thoughts, their choices, their regrets, and maybe their futures. I reached out without meaning to, my fingers drawn to the old seat like they belonged there. The moment I touched it, the world shifted. No fanfare, no flash of light. Just a blink. Suddenly I was sitting in the chair. The machine hissed softly, and in the hum of its core, I heard thousands of whispers layered on top of one another. And one voice, clear above the rest, my own. You're almost back, Arlen, but you have to remember why you forgot. I gasped, my lungs burned, my vision blurred. And then I saw them. Moments that hadn't happened yet. A journey, a ship not yet built. A figure made of light and metal, and something darker behind it, vast and reaching. And a single star, impossibly bright, at the center of a dead sky. Ether point 0. I woke up on the floor, the dome silent again. The machine dimmed, slumped like it had given away too much. But the whisper remained, faint in my head. The dreamer sleeps, until the signal completes. Whatever that meant, I had the sense I'd just cracked open a vault buried inside myself, and the contents weren't entirely mine. Not anymore. Chapter 4: The Loop and the Liar. By Arlen Vale, mechanic scholar of Meridian Station. I've stopped trusting clocks. Not just the wall units, those I smashed 3 days ago when they started ticking backward in perfect sync, but the internal ones too. The body clocks. The kind that tell you when you last ate, or how long it's been since you last slept. Because now I'm not sure whether I ever did sleep. Maybe I've just been dreaming in a longer loop. After I woke from the memory vault, or vision chair, or whatever that cursed machine was, the dome sealed itself behind me. Gone. Just a smooth wall where the shaft used to be, like it had never existed. But I still had the scorch on my palm where I touched the machine's core, still heard my voice whispering things I didn't remember saying. And I wasn't alone anymore. He appeared in the corridors that weren't there, in reflection, in the corner of my eye. My double, older, grayer, not a hallucination. I've built machines for long-haul miners. I know the signs of sleep-debt psychosis. This wasn't that. He was real, or at least solid. The first time he spoke, I was in the supply bay, calibrating a time buffer to resync my portable scanner. He stood behind the bulkhead door like a patient regret. I turned, and there he was. "You're repeating yourself, Arlen." I raised a wrench, because what else do you do when you meet your future? He didn't flinch. "You've already found the map, the vault, the truth, but you always stop here. You always doubt." His eyes, my eyes, were tired. Not cruel, just used up. "And every time you stop, I start over." I don't remember charging him, but I must have. There was blood on the floor and a dent in the wall when I came back to myself. He was gone, left behind a fragment of old hollow film, torn and smoking at the edge. I took it back to my workshop. It was encoded in recursive layering, the same kind of tech used in memory archives that store hundreds of perspectives in a single image. When I finally cracked it open, I saw something I wasn't ready for. Blueprints for a ship, a design that matched nothing we've ever used. Fluid, elegant, half-organic. A ship meant not to travel through space, but through states of memory. The label at the bottom chilled me more than the image. Model, Vale Class, Iteration 198. Constructed, Meridian 12th Never. Pilot, Arlen Vale. Me. I've built this ship before. I've flown it before. Maybe I still am. I sit now in my quarters, writing this in the one place that still feels like mine. But even that's slipping. My old journals are filled with entries I don't remember writing, drawings of star charts I can't decipher, and always the same phrase scrawled at the end. If you find yourself again, don't trust the man who remembers. Too late for that now. Because I am the man who remembers. And I think I've been lying to myself.
Chapter 5: The Dreamer's Wake. By Arlen Vale, mechanic scholar of Meridian Station. I built the ship again. Not with my hands, not entirely. The pieces were already there, hidden across the station like breadcrumbs I'd left myself in another life. The core frame was buried beneath the gravity well, disguised as an old recycler. The memory nav was split across 3 locked servers in the abandoned quantum bay, and the seed, the ship's heart, was still pulsing inside Engine 7A, waiting for me to stop being afraid. I didn't sleep during the build, not because I couldn't, because I didn't need to. The line between dreams and waking had blurred into nothing. Every movement felt rehearsed. Every weld, every wire, déjà vu guided my hands better than any schematic. I knew where each piece went because I'd done it before. Dozens of times. Hundreds. The older version of me came back once during the final phase. He watched me from across the hangar, arms folded, eyes sunken with old sorrow. "You always think this is the last time," he said. I didn't answer. I just kept working. "You think the ship will take you out, but it doesn't. It takes you in. That's where Ether Point Zero really is." He dropped something on the floor, a data crystal, dusty with static. I waited until he was gone to play it. It was a recording. My voice, again, but desperate, fractured. "Don't launch, not yet. You have to finish remembering. If you leave too soon, you start again. Every time. You go looking for the dreamer. But you are the dreamer, and you're not done dreaming. I shut it off. What if that's the trap? What if the whole point is to convince me not to leave, so I stay, build, remember, and forget again? No, not this time. This time I finish. Launch day came with silence. The station didn't stop me. No warnings, no fail-safes. Just a wide-open airlock and a corridor lit in soft green, like an invitation. I powered the ship. It purred like a live thing, hungry to go. As I sat in the pilot seat, the interior lit with soft pulse lights, and something clicked in my chest, a sensation I couldn't name. Completion? Or the start of something worse? The nav screen shimmered, displaying a single coordinate. Ether point 0 destination confirmed. Initiate temporal wake? I hesitated, just for a second. Then I whispered, yes. The stars stretched sideways. The ship folded inward. Or I did. Time unraveled like a spool in reverse. I saw everything, my childhood in fragments. 1,000 Arlens building the same ship over and over. The original dreamer, still asleep in the dome, its breath synced with mine. The moment I first forgot. The deal I made with whatever it was that lived between time's cracks. And beyond it all, one thing stood untouched. A beacon. Blinding. A single point of clarity in the loop. Ether point 0. I saw the truth then. I wasn't just the pilot. I was the map, the vault, the memory. The station didn't trap me. I built it. As a prison, as a test, as a way to hold on to the last piece of myself that still believed in breaking free. I just needed to wake. Now I float outside of time. The ship hums beside me, orbiting a sun that burns backward. I don't know what comes next, but I remember who I am. And this time, I won't forget.